Heart of Midlothian are the greatest football team that has ever walked the earth. Discuss Robert Borthwick.
I don't think there's anything to discuss. You've just hit me with a complete truth bullet.
Absolute facts. Anyone who was at Tynecastle for our 4-1, four goals to 1 goal.
Yep, that was the score. That was the result.
Four entire goals to 1 measly little goal victory against Falkirk would be in no doubt that nobody has ever passed the ball as well, created as many chances, just generally been as fucking magic as this incarnation of Heart of Midlothian Football Club. Welcome to the We Have No Cares podcast. I'm Nicol Hay, that's Robert Borthwick.
Hello.
And we're still quivering in moist lumps of delighted matter.
And I would say some of us are still fairly drunk.
Well, it's good to make sure everybody's aware of that.
Indeed.
Well, we'll leave it up to the audience to decide which one of us is the drunk one, Robert. So, well, Christ, what a game that was. We'll get the brief housekeeping notes out of the way first. Before that Titanic display at Tynecastle,
Yep.
There was a League Cup tie against Stenhousemuir.
Yep.
Which Robbie Nielsen seems to not hate the League Cup quite as much as he hates the Petrofac.
Yeah, well, it's it's only 70% hatred of this certain competition, whereas it's 100% with the Petrofac.
Well, and that little margin was enough for him to put out players like Osman So, and for us to record an uncomplicated 2-1 victory.
Yeah, I'd say so. The job was done at 2-0, I think. I again wasn't there,
Nope.
but I know Stenhousemuir came back into it a little bit. Got their goal back and stuff like that. But it's a professional win.
I think we'll devote very little time to the Stenhousemuir game, partly because neither of us are there, partly because there's not much to say. From what I pieced together from people who were there and from the highlights, it was kind of just shooting practice until we got 2-0 up, and then jogging practice for much of the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's obviously, there's good things to take out of it, like Gary Oliver getting on the score sheet again, for example. It's good to see that he is, taking his chance. Well, when he gets his chance, he's taking them. It's positives to be taken. Lee Hollis did play again. He did. He's now got 2 appearances in a Hearts jersey.
No, keep talking, Robert. I just need to work through this myself.
Well, every silver lining has a cloud.
He'll quite hopefully never ever play for Hearts ever again, so that's...
Fingers are crossed. Fingers are crossed.
And he didn't cost us anything ridiculous in this game. He wasn't at fault for the goals. So.
Apparently did okay against Stenhousemuir.
Congratulations, Lee Hollis. Congratulations on finding your level. Congratulations, Kevin McHattie, for bursting in a raker. More about the delightful Kevin McHattie later.
Yes.
But yes, we march on to the next round of the League Cup against probably another Diddy team that will roll over, right, Rob?
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, Tynecastle on Saturday. A game at Tynecastle at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. There's a novelty
yes.
this season.
Quite lovely.
And lovely weather. Packed full house for a game against Falkirk.
16,500.
Scottish football is doomed. Scottish football is doomed without a strong old firm.
Armageddon.
Absolutely terrible. It's almost like, punters just aren't interested in teams playing decent football and having a chance of winning, and just generally things being positive. You know?
And also great to see how the amount of Falkirk fans there. They took a very, very good following. So
Falkirk are a very good, well supported team anyway. I think when they're down in that division, they're one of the... I'd say they're one of the grand clubs of Scotland.
Yeah, no, I'd say so. I'd even go as far as to say I have a soft spot for them if it wasn't for Peter Houston, who I just despise irrationally.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Not got a lot of time for him.
I think he's fine.
Well, good for you. I just don't like him. I can't.
Great, wow.
Yep.
On that bombshell. So for the first sort of 10 or so minutes of this game, I was quite worried actually that we wouldn't have much to talk about in this podcast, because very little happened. Yeah,
there wasn't much in the way of flowing football or anything like that. I think both teams just sort of felt their way into it.
Simon, who sitting next to me, made a very telling observation that in all of our games this season we haven't started very quickly at all.
Yeah.
It's almost like we need to take that sort of 10 or 20 minutes in each game to remember, so wait a minute, we're brilliant.
Yeah.
We're much better than this other team.
Yeah.
And I think, to be fair, we were also maybe a little bit cautious after Falkirk put up a very good display in the first sort of 70 or so minutes of their game against Rangers, and then beating Hibernian.
Well, to be fair, that would be funny if it wasn't just so normal now. They just love getting beat. It's quite lovely, quite lovely.
Oh yeah. Well, we might talk about Hibernian later on.
Nah.
It's a bit no. Oh right. Well, apparently not. I'll just tick that off of the agenda there. That's all my careful Hibernian research that I've done. That's a lie. Yeah. Well, the first sort of meaningful event of the game was a very, very touching tribute to young
Robbie McDonald.
McDonald.
Yeah, sadly passed away. It was great to see, all four stands observing it, both benches observing it as well. So obviously the word was spread very well. So it's, hopefully his family can take something from that.
Yeah. And shortly after that very, very moving and well observed applause died down, Heart of Midlothian took a corner. Billy King, I believe, floated it over. Jamie McDonald got distracted by a butterfly or something like that.
Yeah, he didn't cover himself in glory.
No, which is a shame because he had a very, very good game on his return to Tynecastle generally, but at that moment he was found wanting and not finding Jordan McGee, who was found in space.
Yes, no one was finding Jordan McGee apparently. He's quite tall. You can see him.
Mm-hmm. He's got a very distinctive sleeve tattoo and proto beard.
Yeah, indeed, yes.
If you were conducting a manhunt for him, he would be tracked down within moments. I feel. But yeah, in that vast acre of penalty box, he was completely unmarked and jumped up and nodded in a very, very simple opening goal.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we discussed in the first episode, the Rangers episode, that it's good to see him getting forward because that's what he didn't do last year. Maybe he was told to. Maybe he was just a wee bit nervous, lack of confidence. In this game, throughout the game, I thought Jordan was fantastic. He was bombing forward. He was getting up there. He was supporting, and it was great. He got another goal. Fantastic.
Yeah, I think this is the sort of game where he'll have the freedom to bomb forwards. But obviously, that goal was a set piece rather than
absolutely
a bit of play. But that's the one thing that you do get from having a centre half playing at right back. A bit more threat at set pieces. That said, it's not like our first choice right back is a tiny little man who doesn't win headers.
He's pish in the air.
So that settled a lot of nerves, I thought. That sort of made it feel like, all right, well, maybe we're going to be okay. As the game developed, I kind of felt like at this point, I really noticed this was the first game that really felt to me like it was being in the Championship. Obviously, I did miss the Wraith game, but the thing that I really noticed is that Falkirk were getting away with quite a lot of Championship challenges, centre halves being like, not too slow to deal with this. I think I'll just give you a wee push.
Yeah, get out my way.
Yeah, and they seem to either be getting away with them or not being booked. Well, I felt that players weren't really being booked, and then I noticed after the game that actually 6 Falkirk players got booked.
Was one of them Alan Mabry by any chance?
Yes, one of them was Alan Mabry. Do you know how he got booked? Do you know what he did to earn that particular booking?
Well, I believe it was right in front of me actually in section G. I believe Sam Nicholson took the cunt.
Yes.
He spun on the ball quite wonderfully, and Alan Mabry didn't know what day of the week it was.
Yeah, Sam Nicholson reached out with his talons and ripped every inch of pish straight out of the Alan Mabry. He was a dry husk afterwards. Interesting that he tried to make the challenge on Sam while looking in utterly the opposite direction. That's how contorted his spine was. It's a shame for Alan Mabry. I liked him when he was a Hearts player, but really he was finished 2 years ago and then tellingly still managed to find gainful employment at Hibs.
Yes, I liked Alan Mabry when he was at Hearts, and that's basically where that ends.
Yeah.
He didn't do much after that.
No. And there was a penalty.
Yes, there was.
I think the whole stand was waiting for Prince to step up and lash it home, but he didn't.
No.
3-goal hero from Wraith, James Keatings, took command of the ball, confidently placed it on the spot, stepped up, and then dribbled something.
Yeah, I mean, I believe, in the industry, at the Tune School of Excellence, they call that a complete shanner. It wasn't great. Don't take away from from our good friend Jamie McDonald, who had to make the save, and his follow-up save was fantastic as well. The thing that I loved the most about this was the desire of Billy King to get in the right position first and foremost. But he had 6 bodies in front of him when he hit that shot. He had a very, very narrow corridor to hit it into. And it was inch perfect. It was a great finish.
He found that aperture. He threaded right through it.
He did.
Yeah, and after that, I mean, that was the game won. I think, really, you could see Falkirk basically give up at that point.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't ever really in it, to be honest with you, but getting the 2-goal margin killed the game off a wee bit. But that's when you'd expect, maybe a team to calm down a bit, just play the ball about, pass it about. We did that and more. We absolutely tore through them on numerous occasions. James Keaton's, I thought, was phenomenal on the day. His movement off the ball is fantastic. And that's how we got our 3rd goal, which for me was the best goal of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, just before this, we'd been treated to quite a number of excellent moves. If you look at the extended highlights, which are on Hearts TV, you'll see towards the end of the first half, just before the 3rd goal, there is a sequence of at least 2-3 minutes where it comprises of about 3 Hearts attacks where we sort of wade forward, Gomez making ridiculous turns to get away from like 2 or 3 markers, spreading the ball wide, bringing it in, Osman Sow having outrageous flicks on the corner of the box, overlapping runs from Keatings and Nicholson.
Yeah.
One moment, my favourite moment of the entire game, Kevin McCarthy's nonchalant flick
yes.
to release Billy King on the left. It's ludicrous stuff.
Yeah.
But then every time, like the move would break down, Falkirk would maybe get possession back for like 2 or 3 passes. We'd recover it, we'd recycle, we'd go back, and then there was, and then when they went back forward again, the movement had all changed. And now, whereas like in a move like not 30 seconds earlier, Billy King had been on the left wing. Now Osman Sow was on the left wing because Billy had made a run inside to drag a marker out of position.
And that to be fair, that led to my favourite part of the game when Osman Sow picked the ball up on the left, looked up and noticed that he was standing next to Alan Mabry, and went, fuck off, and just basically waltzed past him and put in a phenomenal ball into the middle.
Yeah, well, Osman Sow noticed he was standing next to Alan Mabry and thought, well, maybe I shouldn't be standing next to Alan Mabry anymore.
Yes.
Left him. That ball went right away across the face of the goal with no takers, but ended up with Billy King now on the right of midfield, who did an absolutely ridiculous chip pass into the path of Jordan McGee.
Yeah.
All of it, like, I think if you record the sound of Tynecastle just generally this season and just average out to find the most popular noise from the crowd this season, it'll be grown men going, oh God.
Yeah.
It will be called the Vinegar Dome, because that is the state of mind that we'll all be in. But yes, as you were saying, that did lead to the 3rd goal. Talk us through it, Robert. Talk us through it.
It was just everything about it. I think it was Danny Wilson won the ball at the back and gave it to Aleem, who I thought Aleem probably put in his best performance for us
Certainly.
to date. Unfortunately, he got a wee tight hammy and had to come off, but precaution, it's 3-0 up. I think
in
it was the right thing to do.
Well, I don't think he did have to come off. I think in a tighter game he wouldn't have come off, but
yeah, absolutely.
Why not?
But yeah, no, totally. But I mean, him picking it up, playing it into the midfield for I think it was Gomez he played it into,
yeah,
and just. You can see it on the highlights, but I saw it at the game as well. The movement. James Keaton's basically just dropping off, going out wide. Billy King from left wing position that he was in at that time, darting into the box, almost replacing Keating's. That's the thing, it's fluid. They know where each other's meant to be. Keaton's acres of space on the left, but the delivery, the ball in, absolutely inch perfect. Very, very hard to defend. And, Billy headed it in. It was.
Wait, Billy did what?
Yeah, Billy King headed the ball.
Wait.
I shit you not.
What?
Yes.
His head. That tiny little man.
Yeah.
with his tiny little head.
Yeah.
Knocked the ball into that massive big goal.
His wee ice gem haircut. No, it was just everything about the goal was fantastic. It was that's when I basically noticed the comparisons people were making from the Wraith game. It's almost like the Burley team.
Yeah.
That's very similar to the goal that springs to mind is Rudy Scatchell's goal in the first derby under Burley. And the movement going through, I think it was actually Robbie Nielsen that started that move. And going straight through the middle, ending up with a wee ball out wide, it's just fantastic football. It's amazing to watch. And I'll be honest here, I have had sex before, and I think that was better.
I would say, compared to the Burley team was obviously much more direct. Like, the game plan under the Burley team was just to blitz people stupid in the first half hour and then take it easy for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
This is much more possession-based. I think this is based much more from the point of view that we have smaller players generally, and perhaps not quite as lethal players, though that's maybe not the word I'm looking for, because Osman So is just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the right game plan for this team, and it's so sustainable, it's so replicable.
Yeah.
I appreciate we were playing Falkirk today, and their pressing is not of the highest standard.
No.
But I mean, when we looked at the fixture list at the start of the season, we knew that our first 4 fixtures were theoretically the 4 hardest games that we will play in this, opening quarter, this round of fixtures.
Yeah.
And we've, not sailed through them exactly, because there were some hairy moments against Hibs and Rangers, but we've looked very, very, very competent.
Yeah.
And many people have said that first 45 minutes was by far the best performance they've seen since 2005, and I don't think you can argue it.
No. As I said, the football was just incredible. We absolutely... you say we walked into the game, and we kind of did. We didn't absolutely go hell for leather straight from the off, but even the slower stuff, Gomez, everyone getting a touch of the ball, everyone feeling their way into the game, it just escalated very quickly into what was an absolutely magnificent 45 minutes, and it really was quite stunning.
So inevitably the second 45 minutes didn't quite live up to that.
No.
We had some occasions in the first 10 minutes. So a personal highlight was watching Falkirk do the Jamie Hamill kick-off. And do you know what? Guess what? Like, somebody just sort of pointed out to Jamie Hamill and just pointed, sort of, that they did your routine. Guess what? It didn't work. Just like every fucking time you tried it, Jamie. What were you doing? Jamie! Oh, I'm not going to get annoyed. I'm not going to get upset. He's gone. We've got Morgaro now.
Yes.
So
yes, we do. I can tell it's still raw emotion for you, speaking about Mr. Hamill. But yeah, no, it was quite funny.
I mean, the more significant aspects of the second half, Prince with a ridiculous rush of blood to the head, a studs up challenge from behind when we're 3-0 up. Absolutely no reason to do it.
Yeah.
Straight red, and I don't think anyone could possibly complain.
See, at the game, from my position, from my angle, I didn't think it was a straight red tackle. I've seen it on the highlights, and you can't defend it. I don't really know what he was doing. It wasn't a career threatener, nothing like that. It wasn't.
It's not particularly dangerous.
There wasn't much force in it, but he's gone over the ball. He's gone in with his studs. It's just daft. It was really daft, because I thought he had a great game again up until that point.
Absolutely, yeah. Him and Gomez, while being integral, were sort of secondary to like the movement and just the sheer orgasmic nature of the front four. And Kevin McHattie, actually, who I thought was probably our standout player in the first half, which is weird considering Billy King scored 2 goals
and set one up.
Yeah, but McHattie's just, some of his flicks and his combination play down the left. I feel like I've said that on every single podcast at least 7 times, but
he just looks so confident.
Yeah.
He looks so confident. It's night and day from last year. And again, I'm going to say it again, Jordan McGee as well. 2 fullbacks who are not scared to play football. In the past we've seen players, Robbie Nielsen, sort of resorting to hit long or hit into the channels, but they're always looking for the short ball. They're always looking for the man who's in space, and it's great.
That's kind of the interesting thing about Robbie Nielsen's whole coaching philosophy. As a player, he was limited, but I think he was intelligent in the way that he was limited, because he did what he knew he could do.
Yeah. Like,
Robbie Nielsen didn't overplay because he knew he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But he knows these players and he knows that they can.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just absolutely everything about Robbie Nielsen I kind of love, to be honest with you. There's nothing to hate.
His fashion again. Oh my goodness.
He went back to the white shirt and grey coat, and it looked fantastic. And up against that prick Peter Houston, who I don't know why I don't like again, but it was lovely. Just
one other thing from the actual, a couple of other things from the actual match that I want to mention. First one was a really, really telling moment with Alim, who, like Rob was saying, had certainly his best game as a Hearts player today. Only the one slightly misplaced header. Other than that, it was
I thought it was
performance.
solid, yeah.
And there was a moment in the second half where he was sort of put under pressure in possession and passed it back to Jack Hamilton, and Jack Hamilton hoofed it out the park, and Alim just looked absolutely disgusted with him. Like, what are you doing? This is not our game. Don't you dare do that again. And that's a fantastic thing to see.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been drilled into every single player what the game plan is, the type and the style of football that we're meant to be playing, that we want to be playing consistently. It's, Ali Mosturk and Danny Wilson skinned folk.
So certainly, Danny certainly had a couple of times we just dropped the shoulder and just breezed past people.
To be honest with you, there was one time down on the sort of right back position next to the Wheatfield stand, and he was getting closed down. I really wished it was Alan Maybury just to say he'd been skinned again, but it wasn't.
It was Botia Biabia, I think, is who.
Yeah, and he came charging in to close him down. Alim dinked it round him.
Did him up like a kipper.
Yes, indeed, and then ran onto it. He lost the ball, but we won't. We won't focus on that.
It was just another orgasmic moment in a game full of such wonderful, wonderful money shots. This fabulous training regime that we've got that's instilled the passing mentality in the players, I kind of wish we could have it for some of our fans, because even after a performance like that, there's still folk around me like moaning when it gets passed back to the keeper or yelling get it up the park. And I wonder about guys who've obviously been going to football week in, week out for 20, 30, 40 years. How have they not spotted yet how to be good at football?
Yeah. It's people get frustrated when basically any time you're not scoring a goal. That's basically the crux of it. It is annoying, but I don't really care.
Yeah. And then Danny gave them a little bit of ammunition by fannying about a bit at the back.
By falling over his own tits.
Yeah. Tripped on his nipple, and the wonderfully named Botia Biabi slotted home. Jack didn't have much chance.
It was a good goal. It was a good goal. But I mean, obviously we've missed out the fact that Osman Sow scored a goal.
Yeah. So incident-packed this game. Osman Sow, who...
So many fucking goals!
I got so many goals I don't know what to do, baby. I do remember, though, a wonderful lofted ball from midfield, a lofted pass rather than a hoof, which So...
A hoof?
I don't know whether So meant to control it with his shoulder, but by golly, he did.
I really hope he did mean it.
Just sort of shouldered it into his own path, breezed past Volks, who, again, as Champions defender, just went, oh, whatever, man. I want to go home. It wasn't like this last week. It was easy at Easter Road. Why is it so hard? And then he scored a wonderful penalty.
Yes. He made Jamie McDonald look like a bit of an arse. Just with a simple little, not dummy in his run-up, but a wee sort of stumble almost, and great penalty. There's not much else that can be said.
And like I say, shame that it made Jamie McDonald look like an arse, because he did have a wonderful game back at Tynecastle, and a great moment at the end where the Hearts ambassadors named him one of the mans of the match.
One of the men of the match.
Men's of the matches.
Yes, the mans.
Men's. And a standing ovation all around the grounds, which, Jamie very generously recognised. Didn't swing on the bar, as we were actually trying to exhort him to do.
Yeah, to be honest with you, he's dead to me now.
What a prick.
Yep.
So that was Falkirk, and that was the end of the first spell of this league. And like we said, we've come through it with flying colours, especially considering our rivals have been less than impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's 12 points, 12 goals from the 4 games so far.
Which is literally 9 more points than Hibernian have.
9 full points more, because they are hilariously shit.
And 3 of those points they gained only because
fucking
they had...
Alloa! Alloa!
But the 3 points, they only got them because they struggled at home to Livingston, and they've only got they only got the win because of a fluke goal from their fucking goalkeeper. They should have 1 point if they'd actually bothered to play like gentlemen.
The best thing about this is that, Alloa are completely fucking bobbins, and
one of the worst teams in the division by far,
if not the worst. To be honest with you, they're not very good, and that's no disrespect to Alloa at all.
I think that is. I think that actually is quite a hefty amount of disrespect to Alloa.
I don't know why I even said that. There's not going to be any Alloa fans listening, is there? Fuck Alloa. But yeah, no, it's Alloa really are quite a terrible football team. Maybe in a league slightly above their standard. And they still delivered a right good pumping to Hibs.
So that wraps up the last wonderful week at Heart of Midlothian, and we come in once more, as we always do, to Songs of the Week, and there is only one candidate for Songs this week.
2 goals, 1 assist.
How many assists?
1.
How many goals?
2.
And how many assists?
1.
And how many goals?
2.
That's Billy King. It's my turn to go first, I believe.
Yes, I believe it is. Yes, okay. After my absolute shitmare of Keating's songs last week.
Well, if you want to score the goal, you put the king on it. If you need a corner floated, put the king on it. Don't be mad, Jamie Walker, if you're on the bench. If you want to score a goal, you put the king on it. Oh, 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 oh.
Was that Beyonce?
That was Beyonce.
That was Beyonce.
That was Single Ladies by Beyonce. A fabulous single, and it has the word ring in it, which rhymes with king.
Yep.
And that's where we went with it.
And that's where we are.
Do you need any further analysis?
No, that's absolutely fine. I've got what I need.
Okay, good.
Yep, so here goes my
step up
effort. Billy King, he is a winger. He's just a boy, but he now scores goals for fun. But he's named just like a Hun.
Oh, strong.
Yes, yep.
Oh, I do enjoy the gag at the end as well.
Billy.
I don't know. I don't know who's won that one.
That's, to be honest with you, yours has dance moves.
That's true. I would love to see the whole of Tynecastle with like the ring finger in the air.
Yes, shaking their booties. Yeah, no, that's the thought. Let's call it a draw.
Let's call it a draw. Let's shake hands. One for the cameras.
And there we go.
Thanks.
Okay, great.
That was a bit of visual comedy for your podcasting pleasure there. A draw like gentlemen.
Yes.
Like the gentlemen that we are. This is the last podcast for a good couple of weeks. It's an international break next week, and then while Hearts will be battling it out in the shadow of the rock in Dumbarton.
Yep.
It's Dumbarton, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, it is, yeah.
Thank goodness. Whoa. You can feel the research in this show.
Fixtures.
Robert and I will both be in Spain for very different reasons.
Yes, that's true. So there'll be no podcast following that game, unfortunately.
So our next fixture, which we can cover, is at home to Cowdenbeath on the 20th of September, which will be another Saturday, so you can look out for something very, very shortly after that. If you want to get in touch with us with any thoughts or feelings about this show, you can tweet me at Nicolhay, Nicolhay.
And you can tweet myself at RF Borthwick, that's RFBORTHWICK.
Excellent. Well done.
Thanks.
We are on email, what is it? We have no cares at gmail.com. That's WEHA. No, you can.
For fuck's sake.
Steve Crawford.
Steve Crawford.
Hey, baby.
Amaruso, that's a run, it's a dive!